Hi, my name is Kelly Clement, Director of Sales here at MetaStock. I'm pleased to announce the arrival of 10 new event recognizers for MetaStock's newest tool, the MetaStock FORECASTER. In these event recognizers, we've added in 2 based off of the RMO trading strategy, which has long been one of the most popular trading strategies built into MetaStock, and 8 based off of the newest system built into MetaStock, the LCI trading system. Join me as I take you through this brief demonstration on how these new event recognizers work within MetaStock. We'll begin our demonstration by looking at a chart of Adobe systems. Here you can see Adobe systems with the RMO template applied. With the RMO, what we're looking for a buy trigger is we're looking for the RMO indicator here to be crossing above the 0 line, a new blue bar, and a new blue arrow. So if we go back in time, here back in May was the last time that this happened. So that was an entry point. Now with the new forecast recognizers, what we can do is we can actually see what's happened every time we've had that event happen over time with Adobe. So let's go over to the forecaster for just a moment and let's take a look at what price has done with Adobe every time we've had an RMO buy signal. So this is that last example that we saw back on May 13th where it triggered an entry point for us. So we see what happens is that price tends to really move up in the short term and then stay relatively flat. You can see this by seeing these probability channels by looking over here in this color scale. So if we see this, we can see that the RMO tended to follow its high probability right up to the end here where it had a slight breakout but then pulls right back into the probability areas. How can we use this as traders? Well, we can use this to help us manage our trades once we have an entry signal. So imagine here, this is what our entry would have looked like when we first got the trade from here back. And this is what this forecast cloud is showing, is the direction what it's showing historically price has done moving forward. Let's look at some more current examples here. So let's close out Adobe systems here. And let's look at Amazon for just a moment. So again, we're going to go over to the forecaster and let's look at Amazon. Okay, so this is our example of Amazon with its last RMO buy signal. So if we go back in time, we can see that last buy signal on the chart back when it last crossed over. And this is what the forecaster was showing price would do at that time. So here you can see that we had the entry signal. This was back in February 2015. And what did price do? Well, it rose up just as the forecaster had shown that it was going to do, went up to the top edge of the probability range. Now I can use that as a support and resistance, and it pushed it back down to the bottom edge where it stayed right in that probability area during that time. So you can start to see as we have the power of the RMO already, where it's giving us good signals based off of the overall trends of the market. And now what it's doing, we can now forecast price based off of that, combining them together to help us see these strong examples and help us follow through the trade. Let's look at one more RMO. And here we're going to look at Amgen. Now Amgen is going to be a little bit more of a recent example for us. You can see we have our trigger point here where it's just triggered in just within the last 2 weeks or so from when I recorded this video. So we can go over and let's look at the Amgen. So here we can see our current example. So here's what price is forecasting here from this point. And we can see that the RMO is showing after it has an RMO buy signal that it will tend to pull up before retracing back down over about 30 days. And we can zoom in a little bit more closely on that by going into the current forecast cloud, which actually adds in some of the more recent data, whereas this one doesn't. This one's just from here back, as we've described, whereas this one starts to add in some more recent data. And you can see that rise up before it starts to pull back over that 30-day period. So you can see that combining together the power of the RMO and the forecaster together can really give you strong indications of when to be getting in and when to be getting out of your trades in combining these together and managing your trades better. Well, let's look at the LCI for just a moment. So the LCI is a new system, again, that's been just put into MetaStock. And what this does is it's looking again for support and resistance. It's helping us to determine support and resistance, and it's looking for pivot reversals. And there's a lot of information that you can go out and look at videos for the LCI. And this is just showing you how you can combine the power of the LCI with the forecaster. So what we have here is we have what's called a bullish breakout. So we have a bullish breakout right here. And what we're going to do is go over into the forecaster and see what happens when we have these bullish breakouts. So we're looking at NetApp here, which is what we were looking at here. So you can see once we have this bullish breakout, we tend to have a strong rise in price over, again, about 30 days. So we can see this strong indication, bright yellows here moving into these bright reds. And as it goes up, we can see this breakout before it starts to pull back. And this is what we've seen historically with NetApp using this event. Okay, so we can come over and we can look at this, then send it over to the forecaster and take a look with it to see what's going on. Let's look at one more example here. Let's go ahead and close out NetApp here. Okay, and this one is paychecks. We're going to go in and look at that. Now this one is a bearish breakout. We can see this one breaking to the downside. So we've got that pivot there. And let's go ahead and look at what happens when we have that. Now this one is a little bit different. When this one triggers in, you can see that price relatively stays flat after this happens. It doesn't have a lot of movement. It stays within a channel. And you can see that very well defined right here. And you can see over the next week or two, it tends to stay right within this relative channel because of the very high probability of price right there. So you can see that and combine those two together. So this is just a quick example of some of the new event recognizers in MetaStock 14. There are 2 for the RMO and 8 for the LCI, combining the power of all these systems together and showing you the ways that you can use the forecaster to help you manage your trade. And this has been a strong part of the MetaStock 14 program and what people want to be able to do. So we encourage you to take MetaStock 14 for a test drive, see if it helps fit your trading style. If you have any questions about what you've seen in the video, feel free to give us a call, and we're happy to talk to you more about these event recognizers that are now available in MetaStock 14.